Sorry, we're starting the recording late. This is the Devtool class. We're having some difficulties with the some of the accounts, but we're going to power on through with those people who do have accounts. The first part of this presentation was just about Devtool in general. They're all covered in slides. We're about to start the interactive part. So I'm going to have everyone log into their machine, either the one on DigitalOcean or their home machine here. So here we are. So PWD. I'm in my root direct. Oh, didn't spell that. PWD. My root directory, have the already the installation for Yocto Project Summit, November 22. And do you need to? You do not need to SSH if you already have it working. You will need a second shell in a few minutes. You'll see that in a couple of slides. But if you're already in, you're good. So I am in and I am good. So now let's if you haven't, we're going to set up a SSH connection. Because we're going to leverage that to make it really easy to deploy stuff to the target over SSH. So if you haven't already got a .ssh directory and the class images do not, go ahead and create that directory. Already exists for mine because I was ahead of you guys a little bit. It maybe already exists for yours. I think I may have made that for your class accounts. Okay, let's do the second step. Let's edit the config file. We're going to add this little configuration to again make it very easy to connect to the target. So I'm going to do there. For those of you copy pasting from PDF, the recent versions of PDF tends to disappear tab characters. You'll find that in this class, you'll find that in the next class. So if you're using from PDF, you'll need to put those back in. If you're copying from ODT or from the PowerPoint slides, as I am doing here, they should come in with no issues. Yes, the .ssh config, I did create that for your convenience. If you have a machine without it, though, you'll need to create that. So I just wanted to keep that command in there just in case you're with a machine without that directory. Okay, let me save this and let me exit. Okay. Now, I've already created the project. I'm going to enhance this so you get more information how to do this at home, but the part in gray is already done. In fact, let's just see what we have. Let's do the tail on. Oh, we're going to be there in just a second. I have to go into the directory first. Let us go into the Poke directory. This is my location on my host. If you're doing your own host, your mileage will vary. And let's source the environment for that build directory. Source Devtool. So I just named it build-devtool just to make it easy to identify. Okay, source. Okay, I am now in my environment. I have a which bitmake. Yep, so I'm all live here. And let's just cat the tail of the config, local config. And this is the stuff I just added to the class. And some of these are not really necessary. We've added a couple extra things because we use this class for other stuff. But I think you do need SSH to connect in. We like to have the develop packages and such. Debug tweaks we will definitely use because we don't want to have to enter the root password for our QEMU session. Okay, so that is slide 17. Let's go on to slide 18. So we're going to create a layer. What we're doing here is we want to have all of our content end up in a private layer outside of the project so they can be persistent because projects are, of course, very transient. And you can mess stuff up, break stuff, lose it, forget, and delete it. Okay. So we just got some notice from DigitalOcean. At least for one account, remove the lock and your account is in good standing. Okay, so Michael is on it. So hopefully people who are joining late could catch up on the slides. I'm going very slowly, so it should be easy for people to catch up. Okay, so we're going to create our own private layer called layer foo in the directory above the build directory, which is the Poke directory. So let us insert and okay, calls bitmake server, sets it up for you. Now there is a foo directory. Let's just see that. Okay, there is, move that over, meta.foo. Let's just take a look at that. Tree oops, wrong window. Tree /meta need a space, meta dash foo. So this is what is set up for you. And make sure you had your layer.conf properly formatted, has a default recipe just to kind of help you get started. So that's all done for you. Okay, so let's do the second command. We want to add that layer to our local project, our local build directory. So that's what this second command is. That's the path add layer. So let's do that. Now, if you do a tail on your conf bb layers.conf, you see it's added metafu. Now you could just edit that directly, but maybe you forget to put the backslash, maybe you forget to put it inside the quote, maybe you do other things. There's all sorts of things you could do wrong. It's just easier to use the tools. Again, this is to guide you so you don't have to think about stuff. And you don't have to worry about all that little stuff. Okay, we're going on. I hope people are following along. I'm trying to go very slowly here. And if anyone does get behind or has a question about the configuration, please put it into the chat. I'm watching the chat here. And things. Okay, so we're going to now, we're going to do some git commands to preserve our little patches as we go. So we're going to need to have your default git set up just in case. If you already have git set up, you do not need to do this. Okay, what's my name? I'm in the wrong window. Okay. Okay. And then we can finish with the, oh, I did the email there. Ah, who cares? Let me do that again. All these windows in the way. Okay, I have a question I see. Let me just answer that in just a moment. Let me finish this command. So I'm just make my name David, Reyna, and paste. And here's the email address. You do not need to do any detail here. I just want to have these variables defined so that Git doesn't barf on you. Windriver.com. What help if I can spell river.com. Okay, the question is, we have multiple developers or multiple build directories. Do you have to run big layers? Add layer for each? Yes. Each, you do one make layer, and that'll hopefully put that in a central location. But for each build directory, it doesn't know about that layer yet. So if you have already created the build directory, then you will have to do the add layer. If you create it after you've instantiated the layer, I forget what the rule is for new layers. I think you have to, I'm not sure what it is for BitBake. I know what it is for the Wind River configuration system. I don't remember what it is for BitBake. So I'll leave that a question, but it's safe to always do that. So whether or not it's been added automatically or not, for each build directory, you should do add layer to ensure that you have it. Version control. I think version control mostly doing through the versions of the package. And we'll be doing some games with versions of the packages. But that's kind of outside the scope of this particular presentation, but that's an interesting question. Okay, so we set up Git. Now we want to do is set up a second shell because we want to have that run QEMU so we can kind of bop back and forth between the source directory and the build directory. I've already set up my shell. So who am I? So everyone create a second SSH directory shell and log into your account. And I'll pause for a moment while you all do that. Okay, you can't access the boot thing. I just ran that a few minutes ago. Let's see how it works for me. You may not have the environment quite set up yet. Let's just check. On your local system, okay. So I assume you did source bitbake and all that. You'll need to do that in the second shell. You have to source. Okay, well, I'm not sure if you had a complete build. Maybe the build did not complete. Get access. Because if you built the image, and that would have been the core image base, then you should have a working QEMU. Okay, I assume you all have your second shell. Let me continue. Ah, yeah, QEMU, our default is not QEMU x86. If you left the defaults and did not add the extra flags, then you would have defaulted x86. It actually doesn't matter as long as everything's consistent. If you built it and it's still x86 as your machine, but if you do change it by appending after you build, then your system might be a little mixed up. Okay, so let me just continue. We are on this command, so I'm going to go ahead and change to the directory. I'm going to source my environment. You see the 2, that means this is the second shell. The 1 is the primary shell, of course. Okay, I'm here, and now let's see, for me at least, I can run QEMU. So I didn't have to specify the architecture, the machine type. It just knew that. Okay, so here we go. It'll take a moment when it gets to the generating the RSA keys. So I see in the IRC that some people are making progress with their accounts. So Nico, are you on this session? Nico, Behan needs you to make Tom the host, because I'm not host anymore on that. Okay. And when you get the root shell, I'm sorry, when you get the prompt, go ahead and do root and no password because we did debug tweaks. Nico, are you in this session? Participants. I see Nico is logged in. Okay, so a couple of people more able to get their accounts working. We're on the second slide of the manual part. If you take yourselves to slide number 17, you can, I'm sure, very quickly catch up. I'm going to be going slow. And these commands are just pretty much just copy paste. And see Andrew, his account is back. I'm just typing into the IRC, going slow on third slide on. Okay, we'll just keep working through. Okay, so all of you should now have 2 shells, one with the QEMU and one with your source. Let's go play. We're going to add a package. We're going to add Nano. Nano is very interesting. It's not a hugely complicated package, but it certainly is not trivial. We're going to pick up v5 version 5.8 tarball xz. So this is directly from upstream. So we're going to have Devtool just take this path and I have to copy and come back to the main shell. Okay, this is shell number 1. So let's paste, still has that copy paste. Let me come back, grab that string. Silly thing. Copy back here. Paste. Big server. It's finding that path. It sees that this is a tarball. It looks inside the tarball. It runs, starts parsing everything to see how it fits into the all the recipes that it knows about so far. We have a couple more people who have their machines back from DigitalOcean. They had to actually manually turn them on. Interesting, on the cloud page. We have a question. Yes, Peter responds, setting up your environment with layers. That's where other tools come in to help manage this at a higher level. Okay, Andrew, very good. Okay. It's doing its magic. How? It is found and created for you a recipe. And so it tells you the recipe has been created from this tarball and it may require further editing. And in this case, we are in fact lucky because it's able, well, we'll see, it's able to actually create the entire recipe without other work. It guessed the name of the recipe, Nano. It saw that it was Auto Tools based um, and BitBake knows Auto Tools very well, and it set up all the content for it. It guessed the dependencies correctly. That's great. It knows that needs ncurses and zlib, so it's able to do analysis on that and just fit it in and creates a non-trivial recipe. So let's take a look. Let's see the status of Devtool. Will tell us that we've added. In a moment, we'll actually look at the recipe. Let's come back to our screen. Okay, status. What have we done so far? What is our status? We have added a new package into our workspace, and that package is called Nano. And here's the location. You see that a workspace directory was created for us inside our build directory. And sources, it has Nano. And here's the path to the controlling recipe that it generated. If it's a complicated recipe, one that BitBake Devtool cannot fully parse for you, then you will have to edit it as you would for any new recipe, but this is still pretty cool. So let's go to the next command. Let's find that recipe. Just we know we have it. Let's have it tell us where it is. Okay, find recipe, and it is, here it is. So if you need to know where that recipe was for Nano, here it is. And I believe it's if this is a recipe for something else, just try, I'm just curious, bash. We'll find it inside the meta layer. Yes. So if you do any kind of recipe, it'll tell you where it found it. In this case, it's in the meta directory, recipes extended bash. So you can use this command. It'll find which one is the active Nano, whether it's inside your workspace, because the local directory, local layer is always first. And it'll look at the other ones and it'll find it. So that's pretty cool. So this is handy for just regular work. Now let's look at that recipe. Let's just see what actually got generated, especially in case we need to edit it. Let's just do that. Pops it up in good old BI. So all of this that you see was auto-generated by Devtool. So I knew how to find the license. Pretty cool. License checksums did that for you. Did the all these sums over here, did that for you. It knows about PV. It was able to determine its best guess at the dependencies, and it actually guessed very well. It knew that it had to inherit that this was an AutoTools package, so it knew what to inherit. And I knew that right now you don't need to add anything yet, but here it is if you need to add extra configuration. So pretty cool. Dependencies do not match what the slides do. What did the slides say? Package config and get tool. Okay, so not that. Incurses and zlib. Okay, what did it actually say? That's inherit. Where are the dependencies? Oh, incurses, zlib, and file. So one extra one. So yeah, we need to update the slides. So this is even more sophisticated than the last release. So that's not an extra dependency. Okay, let's go on. So let's quit. Okay, hope. What do you mean by a rough recipe? What this means is that Nano is not a trivial package. We'll be working with some trivial packages just to play with the patching and such, but Nano is fairly large. So the fact it was able to determine that much information, then that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go on. Next slide. Let's build it. So we're going to build it locally in our little workspace, our little sandbox, and see what happens. So by doing this environment, Devtool knows that it's going to look for the nano within this workspace. So that, because we have not integrated into the actual project yet. It's still in the little sandbox or workspace. But let's see what it does. Parses it, tasks it. Somehow found 711 things to do. Doing its configure. So you want to know the recipe for Rust. Rust is quite the beast since it has its own configuration and build system that we have to kind of wrap into BitBig. We'll be having presentations on that tomorrow. But I'm curious what it would do. So Devtool does have a heuristics for determining dependencies, and this goal is not to be perfect. This goal is just to get you as far as it can get you so that you can then carry forward. Can Devtool do the same thing from a Git repo? We'll be doing that in just a few minutes. So the answer to the question is yes. Okay, so the build completed. Yay. This is so cool. We're doing well. So what does go into the workspace? Let's just take a look. Okay, we have another QEMU ARM x86. I see a darkest dot is having an issue with the QEMU. I assume you're doing that in the second shell. I assume you're just trying to catch up. It worked for me. So we're still over here. Oh, a crash. I'm not sure why your QEMU did not come up. A PC crash, maybe that kind of threw it off. Well, we'll see. If not, we'll catch up later. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the workspace to see what exactly Devtool did for us. And what, oh, not in this. This is the second shell. Let's go back to the main shell. So this is what it did for you. Inside the build directory, it created a directory for you called workspace. And it set up a bunch of stuff it's going to be able to do for you, like appends and configures and recipes. In this case, it did do a recipe. It also gathered the source from that tarball and expanded it for you and kind of separated stuff out for you. So it was based on autoconf. So pretty cool. This is all the stuff it did for you. So I'm in the first terminal. Okay, yeah. Or the chat there is about QEMU. Yeah, you do want to do on this QEMU in the second shell. Okay, so that's a structure. So let's start going forward with that. The sources can be outside the workspace. In this case, our golden garden path is to keep them in one place, and we'll kind of finalize them later to external locations. So let's deploy it. let's send it to our target. We're going to let's first prove that nano is not part of our build, our project, because it's still inside the sandbox. So we're going to do grep the manifest just to prove ourselves that it's not there officially in the thing. So we're in, oh, yeah, we're in the first shell and nothing there. When we do this in a few minutes, you'll see when it appears when we do actually add it explicitly. Thank you, Peter, for helping him out. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's also prove that it's not running on the target. So let's go to the second shell, run nano. Definitely not there. Okay, so you've proven that nothing's under the table, nothing is pre-done. Let's then do the magic. We're going to run Devtool simple deploy to target the package nano out of the workspace, and we're going to use QEMU. So remember on that first slide when we set up that configuration for SSH, this is where we get to use it. We've already set up the port and the port settings, all the magic to just make this work. And we're going to use this is by default going to use slurp, because that makes it really easy in this case. And we'll have a slide about that, slurp versus TUNTAP. Okay, so let's deploy it. Start bitbake. Make sure it's built and everything, that's in a good shape. Finds the files that are in the output in the distribution directory, and it says it deployed it. Well, let's check that out into the Cortex, into the QEMU. Okay, come back to slides. Now let's run it on, oops. Yes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. If you has a slide to come back. Zero data now runs to the target. Okay, let's go to our second shell and let's try nano again. No. Beautiful. There it is. Okay, so let's quit this. Control X. Okay, we have deployed this package we just grabbed off the internet. May have Devtool just whip together a recipe for us, and we've been able to build it, deploy it to the target, and it's running. So that's pretty cool. Okay, it now runs. And if we do this command, this grep thing, oh, still not part of the project, so it'll still be empty. And this is a sidebar, slurp versus TUNTAP. You saw our trick with using QEMU to set up the connection definition for our target to make it really easy. Just specify QEMU and then we can just run with it. You can use TUNTAP if you have sudo. Don't mind entering the sudo password when you do that. Then you have to specify which target you do. So the question about multiple targets, you can set multiple definitions, each one with a different port or a different target. And if you do it with TUNTAP, again, you have to just specify root at what local address or such that gets attached to it. Okay, so going on. So let's build it into the actual project. So we're going to Devtool build image core base, and then it's going to find the nano package because this is the local layer, the local workspace, and let's do that. Go for it. This is still in shell 1. Yes, I'm back in shell 1. So we're going to bake in, as it were, this recipe that's inside of our little workspace into the actual project. Building away. Okay, you saw Nano go by there as it built it into the main project. Now it's finalizing the building the core image space. This will take a moment. inode mismatch error. Ooh, that's nasty. There may be a problem with the image. We know that sometimes when the images do not clone correctly, there could be problems. Okay, clean state, that's always safe. So it can make a long rebuild time. It's interesting when you do these classes, we get errors we've never ever seen before. Image root of house. Yes, Devtool build image will include the recipe from workspace. And we'll add it to core image base. And we're going to prove that in a moment because we're building the core image base right now. Does SSH QEMU work? I would think so. I haven't tried that. SSH. Yes, it does. So if you get a resolution, you may not have set the config file because it just worked for me. Okay, so we've built the image. Now if we look at the manifest, we should now find nano as part of the manifest. Let me just up there, grab nano. And there it is. So now by doing the build through Devtool, we've now brought the nano package into the core image manifest and build. So now it's officially part of the image. So until then, it was just in your sandbox. So you could do anything you want until you got it to build. And then now we've actually made it part of the image. So let us go on. So if we just did a bitbake core image, it would not know bitbake would not know to look inside your workspace because that's kind of a special space. Devtool does look inside your workspace and will then bring that into the build. So that's where Devtool is more aware of this special environment of the workspace. So that answered that question. Let's go on. Okay, trying to upgrade. Let's work with let's try the upgrade commands. Let's just run this command. I'm not going to deploy anything. We've already built it. We just proved that. Let's just go on to this. So let's try this command in the main shell. So we will get an error because upgrade is going to try to pull in a newer version of Nano, but Nano already exists on our workspace because we did that earlier. So let's just see what we can do. We need to do export Nano to our layers before we can
David,
yes.
I think you're going a bit fast at the moment because a lot of people are having inode problems, myself included.
Okay. I was hoping that was just isolated. Michael, are you on?
This is not Michael problem. This is a
I
big
know. I'm asking if Michael is also here. We had inode issues a little bit in previous
I
things.
am here. I saw the inode issues go by in the Zoom chat, but I didn't know if it was about the build or the servers.
We've had, I think, inode problems when the clone didn't work correctly. Do we think that's what's happening here? Because none of these, I've never hit those errors in my master clone. Inode errors in the server. Okay, Hashim says cleaning state solved the inode problem for me. And Marlon gives the other commands. We're going to try to deploy to the target a few more times. I don't know if that's going to, clean state is going to force a long build for something. So let's everyone try that. To clean state. Build time was okay. Thank you, Matthias. Inode number mismatch. Oh my goodness. If there's an NFS mount, it's built into DigitalOcean. I don't think it's supposed to be a NFS mount because we're just using the local, well, the directory above for the S8 cache. Thank you, Marco. So tail or conf local.conf. I had the S8 cache in the directory above this, right inside the Poke directory. So it's not distant. We're not trying to go over purposely, not trying to go over any network drives. Here we have a bunch of successes. That's excellent. If anyone's still blocked, please let me know. I'll wait until more people are unblocked. Pseudo error, not NFS. Wow, how did we hit a pseudo error? And why only, I guess it's a race condition with pseudo. Are inodes the same after provisioning? That's an interesting question. It's part of the magic of these servers. I don't know the answer to that question. Restart QEMU when SSHD apparently running, but that let's get us connect. Pre-existing key. Thank you, Marco. So everyone who's still blocked, please put a note in the chat. Let me just see how many people are blocked before I continue on. Michael says there may have been some hard links that were not copied correctly. So Michael, you might want to develop a script that can test links like that since it's a race condition. We've had odd things like that before.
Yeah, I think we need to dereference all the hard links in a future deployment. So, or
Okay.
whatever the correct term for that is, but copy that to file instead of the hard link.
Okay. Put that on a list. No hard links. Every time you learn something new. Okay, Dragon's starting to catch up at 70%. S-Ben. Build works. Chris works afterwards. Okay, Dragon, I think you are still blocked. Kill, good. You're done. Excellent. Not resolve host name. Is host name defined in your SSH config file? SSH config. Andrew's still wondering where the lib magic comes from. File recipe. So Michael, where are there hard links in the installation?
I'm
Or
not
if
sure.
it
That was just a theory. I haven't
sure
tested
sounds
it or
good to
anything.
me. Yeah. We have a unique opportunity to debug this. Yeah, I'm gonna need to move on. Pretty soon. We'll just wait just another moment. Try to see. Okay, darkest dots looking at .ssh/config. Okay, Felipe, you have QMU. Excellent. What are we doing on time? I'm supposed to go to 9:20. I can go extra 15 minutes and not run into the next session. Okay, I think I've got to move on. Hopefully you can catch up. I think we're pretty close. Okay, where was I? Oh, sidebar. Okay, we're going to try to upgrade it. So we already have Nano. The thing what we're going to do is we're going to finalize this. And this is the image of where we are. We have our little workspace inside our build directory. We have the layers outside of that, our persistent layers. And we have the target sitting over here. So let's, and the Nano 5.8, which is what we grabbed, is sitting inside the workspace right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to finalize it. We're going to finish it by exporting it and kind of finalizing it into the layers, into that layer we created for our work. And from there, then we can do stuff like then upgrading it from there and back into the workspace, get a newer version. So let's do that. So we're going to finish. That's what the finish command does. We're going to finish the nano package and we're going to send it to the our metafu. And this is not going to work right off. We're going to find out why, but it will fail in an interesting way. So let's do that. Finish nano. So this is all new stuff. Source tree is not clean. So let's take a look at what we do to get around this. Yep. Okay. Not a problem. We just did a lot of stuff. So we can just tell it's okay to force it. So let's just add the -f command. So Devtool, there we go. Force with the -f. So let's come back into the thing. Let's do the -f. I'm happy with what I have, no problem. Go with it. Okay, so we've now exported it to our metafoo. Here's where it went into the Poke metafoo recipes nano. We're preserving the source inside the thing is still there. So we haven't lost anything. It's not been removed from the workspace. So if we didn't do it right, or if it didn't clean first, or okay, I'm sorry, Rudolph is saying it's okay if I run. Okay, very good. Thank you, Rudy. Rudy says we can go a little bit over. Okay. We don't have to clean anything for this. We really don't care. We just bring it in, everything in. So, so now we can, if we made a mistake or we're not quite sure we finalized it correctly, we could still work with it. In this case, we're happy with what it did. So we can just remove the local copy from the workspace. So we're getting rid of the workspace sources nano. Let's go ahead and blow that away.
A note on that. That has changed. The documentation in the slide is for Kirkstone. Langdale has changed that.
Okay.
As the messages above in your terminal says.
Yeah, okay. I'll fix that. Thank you. I got the same functionality, but yeah, I should update that to the latest release. Thank you. Okay, let me note that. Slide number, whatever it is. 29. Okay. 29 update. Very good. Okay, so let's go on. So now we're going to do this upgrade command, and we're going to see what it does. It's going to fail and give you a bunch of red. Don't worry. I just want you to see how it fails, because it fails in an interesting way. We're going to attempt to upgrade the nano package. What it's going to do is go back to the upstream source, guess what the next version is, and see if it can import it. So it's doing a lot of checking up there. Let's see if it's going to find something. It's looking for, okay, version 7.0. It's going to give a try at that, and it doesn't find it because that actually doesn't exist. There is no version .7. So let's just, in fact, just see what is there, just for laughs. Oops. Copy. And if I go to my thing here, let's just take a look. What is in fact there? Paste and go. Okay, here are the versions. We were at 5.7. It was attempting to find version 7.0. For some reason, its heuristics thought 7.0 would be the next version. It is not. We were at 5.8. In fact, it's 5.9. And since we know that, we can leverage that and run the command with that extra knowledge. So let's come back to the slide. And that's for the guess at 7.0. Okay, so we know the 5.9 version is there. So let's force the version and upgrade that version. And let's pop it in to this shell. Okay. So get a little bit of assistance. See how it works this time. Okay, this time it worked. It did find that version. It did bring it into the workspace, and it's happy. It built it and everything. So excellent. So let's continue on. The question, why did Devtool expect 7.0? That is a mystery known to the developers of Devtool. So the person I ask is Saul. Because I don't know why I guessed that. There's something inside the recipe it determined, or the things, or what it thought it saw upstream. It just didn't quite interpret it correctly. Can you please give a link to the presentation to follow the steps? Yeah, so if you didn't get the slides, if you go to the schedule, hands-on user space. Oh, that's okay. That's the user space. If you go to the schedule, oh, thank you, Ambisorb. Click on the presentation, and yes, the slides are here in PowerPoint, PDF, and ODP format. Okay. Yeah, so this is the talk that he's pointing to. So yeah, grab the version that is appropriate to your host and your preferences. Okay, back to presentation. Let's go back to, okay, so that built. Let's check out, where are we? Okay. Yes, so I don't know where we got 7. That was kind of a mystery to me too, but it made its best guess. So there's some reason for that inside here. So in this case, we just have to give it more information. And there's other flags that you have to give more information, but it still does a lot of work for you. So it's still a valuable asset to move forward. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. It builds. Okay, let's build it. Go on. Okay. Paste in. Move this window back up a bit. Oh, Tim has an answer. Tim is our resident smart guy. .9 is configuring. And let's hope it builds. Okay, it's compiling. Packaging. This is encouraging. Done. Okay, so it's able to bring in the newer version with a little bit of guidance. Yeah, let's go on. Let's just see a little bit about how the deploy target actually works, and just kind of see some of the engineering behind it. So you go to the second shell, you see the 2 there. Let's go, let's do a CD to root, second shell, CD to root, ls. So there's a, what am I looking for? Let's come back here. Oh, there's a hidden directory, .devtool. Let's do it ls-a, ls-a. And there it is, .devtool. Let's do, see what that actually is. That is a directory. So if we do ls on .devtool, see the nano list, and this is a magic file. Let's do try. That doesn't work. Well, this shell is interesting. Okay, let's do a more on that. More on.
I don't have the.
Oh, interesting. So it has a bunch of the stuff that's inside it, the shared directories. So a list of files, I guess, what gets installed. Okay, well, that's interesting. So the .devtool, when we deployed it, if you had the deployment that we did earlier to run Nano, because we do have a which Nano, if you have it installed through Devtool, then it would create this on the fly using the access it has over SSH. And it is hidden file in root. So we're in roots, yes. So thank you, ls/.devtool. Thank you, Colin. Okay. Yeah, Tim Orling is mentioning, yeah, scraping the dist file would find a 7.0 is the best guess. So it's trying to be smart. Unfortunately, people are complicated. Okay. So nanolist, yeah. So there's some of the magic behind it. It's a file that's created by Devtool per package, and it'll be one per package, yes. And if you look at the deploy script that runs it, it does all this magic of preserving files to be clobbered, script that gets copied over, list of files to be deployed. And you need that because this is your how you know how to undeploy stuff. So a quick little package manager thingy. So and when you do deploy it, we'll see if it finds the stuff is already installed and knows to remove it first before doing the new version, so you don't have weird collisions. So yeah, this is kind of its own little package manager, very trivial, specific to Devtool, so it doesn't use RPM or any other package manager. It just very focused on the single task of deploying these single packages and undeploying them. So yeah, it has no integration, no working with any built-in package manager. Okay, let's go on. So continue, let's actually do that. Let's undeploy it and just prove to ourselves that all that disappears. So I'm going to copy that. Come on. Paste. Go back to the target. Let's go back to the shell number 1, because that's our main. We're going to undeploy it from here using that QEMU connection that we defined. And it's going to find that magic file, know what to remove. Presumably, if the file already exists, it will not add it to that because they will know not to destroy it afterwards. So it says it's successful and deploying it. Let's prove that to us. Which nano? Nothing. ls-la on root. Gone. The .devtool nano file is gone. Okay, so that's how you get it off the target. So now let's we did the upgrade. Let's finalize this new version 5.9 to our layer. And we're going to do that in the main shell. Okay, great. Enrico, after you deployed it, you found it and ran. Excellent. Okay, we've a successful finalize. We can delete the local version. Did I say to do that? Yes, you might as well do that. Okay. Now it's been deployed. We do not want to have 2 versions. We want to have one master version. So now we've finalized it to our external layer, our persistent layer, then we do not want the local version to kind of eclipse it. That's why it's good housekeeping to delete it from the local place. Now that we know that it's been safely deployed, finalized to the external layer. Okay, let's continue. A couple little commands. So when do you, okay, sources directory is empty. Okay, Alberto's catching up. Excellent. Okay, just a couple commands, just to kind of just show you what they do. This is in the main shell. Devtool status. Since we finalized and deleted stuff, there's nothing new here. So everything's clean. Yep. Let's let's edit recipe again. Yeah, this works for any recipe, whether it's in your local workspace or in external layer. You can jump directly to that recipe. There it is, POW. It found it for you. It brought it up in the editor. Everything's pretty cool. So you don't have to hunt for anything. Okay, escape. Quit. Okay, cool. It's another command. What's the latest version? That helps if there's multiple versions installed. Let's just find the latest one when it's going to actually be active. Version 6.0. current version is find none, but there is a version that's later than that we haven't enabled for this particular build because of the image recipe did not want it. We could upgrade to 6.0 if you wanted to because it's there, but the current version is 5.19. So that's interesting to know. Where is that recipe? Just to prove that this works. So the edit recipe I think only goes for the BB file. I don't think it looks for any BB appends. I think you'd have to find those yourself. I'm not sure if there's a BB append version of finding that content. To answer Malt's question. Okay, where was it? It found it in the meta layer, recipes extended, ETH tool. There's the there it is. And let's just find it. I just want to know about it, please. Cool. Okay, so found information about it, so you can kind of know what it is. Cool. Okay, let's do a patch. We're gonna do is we have this example layer. This is a trivial layer. It's a tarball. I think what's inside of it is auto tool again. I think we do have a Git version later on, but let's just work with this for now. Okay, so we're gonna bring this in. Let's add this. Okay, this is a little sample tarball that Trevor made to kind of be an example for these tools. And we're gonna build it. And obviously we're gonna deploy it to the target. No magic here yet. Okay, cool. Now let's deploy it. This package, deploy target to our configuration of QEMU. The name is not magic, it's just whatever name we happen to give to that configuration, and you'd have multiple ones for different targets. Okay, it's been deployed. Let's see what it does. Let's run this example. Copy. In the second shell. Very simple. It's a hello world. As simple as it can be. Okay, let's have some fun. We're going to edit it. Let's go into the source directory. So here's where the sources should have been brought in into the local workspace. So that directory should not be empty for you. And if you're following along, let's push there. Okay. And let's,
Yeah, Rebecca.
hello?
Yes.
Did you have a question? Oh, okay. Let's edit this. Oh. What did I do? Oh, I'm in the target. Silly me. When I said go to the main shell, I didn't follow my own advice. Okay, copy. Go to the main shell. Let's CD, push D rather. Okay, let's edit. Copy. Okay, here we go. So we're just going to do a simple edit. We're just going to change the hello world to hello Devtool world or whatever you want. Surprise yourself. Okay, so I'm going to write this. I'm going to quit. Yeah. We're gonna pop T, then we're gonna build it again. And deploy it. So nothing magical here yet. Excellent. Now let's deploy it. I have all these windows open. I have to weave my way through the windows to find my shell. Okay, deployed. And let's run it again to prove ourselves that we did in fact update it. Second shell, paste into the QEMU. Yes, here's my new image, my new message. I should have upped the version. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's have some fun now. If we try to finish it, it'll complain because there was changes made. So let's do that. Back in the main shell, let's attempt to finalize this. And it's very nice. It tells you that things are not clean. The first one, we didn't care. We wanted the whole thing anyway, because the whole thing was brand new. But this is, we made an edit on a file. So it tells you modified this one file. It also tells you that it added 2 files. This is new, by the way. This is not in the previous version of Devtool. This did not appear. So it didn't know what these files are. They're deleted files, obviously, from probably the editor or how it created this. So we don't care about these 2. We do care about that one because this is the change we made. So let's capture that. And here we're going to go into that directory, that source directory for this tool. And we're going to use Git. We're going to commit the changes. And I'm not going to do anything special about the message or anything. I'm just going to save it. See, Devtool. Updated hello string. Okay, let's write out and let's exit. Okay, we now committed this to local Git repository. And we're going to now pop back to our top directory. And we're going to then redo the, so this is going to fail again, but let's see how it fails. And then we're going to add the F, because I'll tell you why in a second, but let's just try it as is. What does it do? Now you notice that the M is gone. The modified file has been taken care of. Everything is hunky and dory. It still sees these 2 files that we do not care about. So I don't care about them either. So let's just do the force. So do the command again with just -force. I could delete them. I'm too lazy to do that. Let me just force the push to export. And it works. Okay. So now we can remove the local source example. Yes, it did copy the extra files because I said to force them in. As I said, I was kind of lazy. I could have deleted them since I knew that they were bogus. Since they were obviously with the tilde, they were obviously deleted files. But I was lazy. I just forced them in. Oh, it says it ignores them. Maybe ignores things that ended with a tilde. If you did the F before you intended to, you can't undo. Unless you, well, you still have the original version. If you were to make changes and do another force, then you could override the previous force, I suppose. I haven't tried doing that. But it's like a get force. It will overwrite If you force it, it'll do what you say. And if you force it again, it'll do that also. So you can fix it that way. Okay. So yes, we're going to delete the local working example because we now have made it part of our master layer. Okay, I'm officially over time a few minutes, but Rudy said I can go ahead a little bit more. So let me try to see how far I get. We're almost done. Let's see how far we get. Yeah, we're almost done with the exercises. And the rest we can just speak through. So now let's upgrade, but we have a release conflict with a patch. So we're going to do patch resolution. I'm going to upgrade this against the previous version, but now we have this new patch. Let's just see what it does. Okay, it did fail. Did it fail in the way I expected? Yes, error 44. Okay. The newer version conflicts with our package. Devtool cannot figure out, so we need to help Devtool. So what we can do is we're going to tell it to do version. We're going to force a version 1.0.1 and do the exact same thing. So here's another override that we can provide intelligence, external intelligence to help Devtool along. Let's see if it works. Okay, this time it's happier. And it is happy. Okay, very good. So now we have version 1.0.1. So what are we going to do next? So in the previous release, it would have saw there was a collision on the patch and actually done a collision file. But let's see what's going to happen. And notice I have some of these in purple. This is how it used to be. It would find it could not merge it by itself and would do a 3MA merge, and you had to resolve the 3MA merge. But Git has gotten more smart since then, and in this case was able to resolve that. So I didn't get all the purple. I left the purple in because if you do a different kind of patch, it may force a three-way merge, and then you have to do the instructions that you're going to see in a moment. In this case, it didn't happen, but let's kind of follow along and see what you would do if it did. So we have a conflict. Let's go ahead and push into the source. Okay, let's then look at the file that we had the collision on, which is the only C file, easy in this case. And you notice that it just merged. It took my previous patch where I had made my change. It didn't do what this is telling you happened. And again, this is what happened in the previous release or the previous version, I guess, of Git. But things have gotten smarter. So this is a conflict I was able to resolve. So I'm curious if anyone got the a merge like this, depending on what change you made. I see some advice from Peter about the undo question that was earlier posed. Thank you, Peter. So yeah, so if you do see this, you just edit the file, and then you just do the normal git commands, which is the rebase continue. You have to, well, of course, add the source, base continue, and all that. But we don't need to do that because our merge happened to be clean. But if you do, it's just normal git stuff. So I just want to keep that in mind. So when things are bad, that's what you have to do. But in this case, we're cool. So let's just do a pop-t and continue. Okay, now let's build it. But we're going to expect the recipe first. We're going to finish it, I see. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's a change that would happen with the update. So this is a dry run. Okay, and then added a patch file. There's that thing I did, updated hello string. So there's a new patch file that's been included. So that's pretty cool. Found the patch, added it to the recipe. Very nice. Thank you for doing that. So now we like it. I saw the changes, I approve them. So no dry run, no N. Let's run it for real this time. You got the conflict message, but the C file is okay. You will get the conflict message regardless. And in fact, I got the conflict message above, but I didn't get all the stuff about a three-way merge. So what you didn't see was, where'd it go? The nasty there. If you don't see the three-way merge thing, then you're actually probably cool. You will see the fail, the yada yada, the conflict. Yeah, I got that too. But unless you get the three-way merge, then you probably are fine. Felipe. Okay. So we're good. And let's just take a look at well, let's finalize. The end, I don't know what N stands for, but it means do trial run. I guess they ran out of letters. I'd have to look at the command set to know, because that's not an obvious option. I think I already did that then. Yeah, I already finished it, sorry. Dry run, that's what the N is for. It's the last letter, of course. I guess D was taken. Okay, yeah, so if you do the finish twice, no harm, no foul. Just says, nope, not there. Okay, so I'm already, let's take a look at the tree, where we are, our this personal layer we've been building up. So there's nano over here. Here's the new one we just did, sample.1. Here's that patch file that I brought in, that I made. All created for you, all put into the right place. Everything is matched up with the BB file. So all the patching was taken care of, all the paperwork as it were. So that's really nice for people who don't want to think at that level, just want to get the job done of getting their packages to work. Okay, I'm gonna finish soon. Local package, yes. In fact, that's what the next exercise is about. So BC is existing package. It's local to the layers, to the installation. Doesn't care if it's in a layer, if it's in your bblayers.conf, then that's a local layer. So let's just do a few more things, then I'm gonna let you take a break and then do Rudy's thing. So BC, I really want to do this because this is existing package. This is I forget what BC does. I looked it up. So we're going to bring that into our workspace so that we can play with it. So we made a copy in the workspace of the sources. We made a copy, and there's a path BC. So I'll try man BC. Precision calculator, that's what it is. Okay. I remember looking that up. So non-trivial. Yeah, you can just follow this along thing. So you can edit it. I think we'll just skip that step. It brought it in. Well, let's run it quickly. It brought in the recipe from the master image, raster layer. So there it is. There it is. Yeah, arbitrary calculator. So this is brought in from the parent layer. So now we can play with it directly in our little sandbox, safe from where the original is. And see, where am I? Modify. So the modify keyword says look locally in your layers to find this recipe. Then we can I think I see CD. Okay. I think we're going to modify this file as I recall, just to prove that we can. Into the source, we need a local copy of the source. We have a complete snapshot of this little recipe, and we're going to do magic with it. We're going to edit. Okay. So yeah, there's the files. Just jump to the, we're going to edit the main.c file. And what do we want to do? Make a trivial change in the usage function. Line, move my windows, 69, of course 69. Usage. Yeah, I don't care. Some trivial change. I'm gonna write it. Let's exit. Probably gonna pop and build it. Oh, pop and finish it, okay. Oh, we're gonna add the file to Git. I'm gonna commit the change. So we can preserve this as a patch and all that. Patch, usage, message, write, exit. Okay. Now we're going to pop and Devtool finish. Going kind of fast because you're just trying to get to the end, so I can leave time for Rudy and a break as well. Okay, it's finalized safely and sanely. And let's just do the okay, so we can if you build this, deploy it, we'll see the changes on the target, all that kind of stuff. So the example, just to finalize what we've done, we brought in an external package from upstream Nano. We brought in and modified it and deployed it. We brought in another custom layer in the thing, and we did created patches and then created recipes that included the new patches using Git to manage the patches. We brought in existing recipe, modified it, created patches, finalized it. If you look at the ls on that directory tree, Metafu. Yeah, there's a patch I created. So this is down the layer. So the changes we now are persistent and pretty cool. So that means you can just really edit stuff and it'll keep track of all this stuff through the finalize command and such. And this is an external tree layer, so your changes are persistent. So that's just quick summary of some of the main features of Devtool. Let me just go on, just mention some of the other things. This is the main tool for ESDKs because ESDKs do not have bitbake, so you don't have that option. So we have all those features plus more. Just so you know the differences, Devtool in bitbake mode, create workspace that's unique to that. But the SDK is the entire thing is a workspace, so you don't need that command, but you have some special things to rebuild the SDK with the changes you may have made, adding packages, you would have captured them into the sysroot package command to force create packages, run QEMU directly. Since ESDKs know everything there is to know about run QEMU, it doesn't need anything else. SDK install, all that. So otherwise the rest of the commands are the same. So this is the main tool for ESDKs. So it's just handy here and really allows the SDK to really be standalone and get all these powerful features even without bitbake locally. And that's what that says. And exactly that. So future stuff, more about multi-config, recipe modification fixes, just more heuristics, more smarts. And whatever you think you might need, whatever is your pain point that you can think you can solve once and solve for everybody, we're open to ideas. We have several people are very excited about moving this forward. So just in conclusion, what we've done, add, modify, upgrade, deploy, and check out the links and send feedback. And that's the presentation. So any closing questions or comments, or do people think this is cool as we think it is? I have to also find my chat window. Here it is. Alberto, thank you. Pretty cool, pretty nice. Thanks. Ideas, yeah. Thank you, Paulo. Okay, so anyone who's not able to do the class because of the server, or if you just have questions, please contact me. I'm happy to help you do a go with this. Just email me or any of the people running the conference, and we'll be happy to set you up because we're very passionate about this tool and want to make sure you all guys have a chance to really use this and then teach other people how to use it and kind of carry forward the flame. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to take, Rudy, do you want a full half hour or do you want to start at the top of the hour? What do people want to do?
It doesn't matter to me, actually. Thanks, David. It's just for everybody who is listening in and working along. For me, it's the beginning of the day.
Wow, okay. Well, let's go ahead and start at the top of the hour. They'll give you 20 minutes off, and I think we were able to catch up. Okay, if you have any issues, I see Esteban sees an issue. I'll copy that, and if you can email me that, let me just double check what might have gone wrong. There may be a missing instruction in the step of the instructions. I do want to get everything crystal clear and working. Didn't update some of the hashes. Yeah, that was interesting. You saw when it showed the diffs, it only had some of the hashes changed. I don't know why. Yeah, here it is. I think that's your question. The SHA-1 sum did not change, so maybe that's counting something different. The SHA-25 did change, but these other two did not. So that's a curious question. Oh, it deleted the MD5 and jumped up to SHA-256 because it's not messing around. Jonas, you wrote the whole hour, please. I'm not sure if you wanted an hour break or. And Andrew, certainly contact me. We'll just do this together. You just might have gotten out of sync early in the class and then nothing worked from then. Okay, let me give you your break. Thank you so much for participating. We're very happy to be with you. Start at the full hour. Yes, thank you. Excellent. Okay, we'll see you at the top of the hour. That's in 18 minutes. And Rudy is here and quite ready to jump in and teach you magic about user space. And he is certainly the expert to do that. Okay, thank you.